Hello everybody, welcome to a Replica Airguns video. My name's Michael K. I'm revisiting the Cybergun Sig Sauer P226 X-Five. Now this is the open version, sometimes referred to as the sight rail version. So make sure to check out my other review of the regular non-open version. Now I did do that review about a year ago, but it's still got a lot of information on this gun. So this open version of the Cybergun Sig Sauer P226 X-Five was purchased from the Replica Airgun store. Now it's a blowback all-metal design. It uses 12 gram CO2 cartridges. It shoots the 4.5mm steel BBs, non-airsoft. It has a full-size dropout metal magazine, which I'll show you later, that holds 18 rounds. This gun weighs nearly 3 pounds, so it sits in at 2.86 pounds. It has a single and double action trigger. Now it has a fairly low claimed 300 feet per second rating, but when I chronograph tested this gun, it did a lot better. Now the open or sight rail version of the Sig Sauer P226 comes with the extended magazine, slightly extended. Same with the grips, they're a little bit extended, and I'll show you that when I compare this to the regular version. It also has a fully adjustable rear sight, and it comes with the sight rail and compensator. Now this is a product of Cybergun. It's made in Taiwan. Quickly show you the box that it comes in. Show you inside quickly. Of course you get your manual. It's very brief, but there's enough information in there to help you get going. And it does come with some BBs. Not very many of the BB guns these days come with BBs, but a lot of the Cybergun products do. And they're nice zinc plated BBs. Get a few tools here. This one's for your CO2. An extra CO2 valve cover for screwing it in. And then you get some tools for installing and adjusting your sight rail and compensator. Let's take a quick walk around of this gun. You can see here on the left side we have a working slide release. We also have a working ambidextrous safety. You also have your magazine release here, which gives you access to your full-size dropout metal magazine. Now we have Sig Sauer licensing and trademarks on the slide and on the grips. By the way, the plastic grips are quite nice on this gun. They're very authentic looking. They look just like the real gun. And again, this is a single and double action trigger. So here's a single action, double action. We also have the takedown lever. Now this lever would be for removing the slide. Now keep in mind that the slide cannot be removed when you have the sight rail on it. So it's a little bit difficult. I won't be taking this gun apart. It just takes a little bit too much time to take this off and get the slide off. Let's take a look at the other side. Again, we have some of the Sig Sauer markings here on the handle. We have the P226 on the slide. We also have our text here, the white text for the warning. Serial number as well. The F for the German market here. On the slide itself, it's a little bit hard to see. The slide is cut out, but there's a .177 caliber marking on the slide. Now the sight, by the way, on this gun does not come with it, so this red dot sight was something that I put on myself. This product actually comes with the sight rail removed, and so you would have the option of putting it on or leaving it off. If you want, you can use the fully adjustable sights all on their own. And again, you have your ambidextrous safety. Now on the top of the gun, although you can't really see the sight rail too well with this red dot on it, you have your sight rail, and again the sight rail comes with the gun but not the red dot. You have your front sight, rear sight. They're just basic sights as far as having white dots. There's no white dots on them, or not even a white dot on the front like you'd actually find on the other one. I'll just show you quickly. You can see here that the regular Sig has the white dot. I'll bring that in later to show you more of it. Now the rear sight is fully adjustable for windage and elevation, which is quite nice. One thing to keep in mind, it's a little bit hard to get at the hammer here. So on the top you do have a fully functioning hammer, but if you want to do single action, it's hard to grab it. So you might want to just pull the slide back to grab it and get it back, and then you can use your single action. Now when you're in blowback operation mode, the gun is going to cycle the slide for you, and it's going to be a single action gun at that point. So if you have a round in the chamber and you just want to shoot it with the hammer already down, you can just use double action for the first shot. You can see here we also have our compensator on the front. I just want to mention quickly, the compensator can be removed. You can use an Allen key to unscrew this screw here, and then you can take the compensator off. There will be part of the barrel that extrudes from the front of this gun, whereas with the regular version, the barrel is flush with the slide. On the bottom of this gun, we have our rail down here. Now the sight rail is on it, but if you wanted to take the sight rail off, you could put either like a laser or a tactical light on here and just completely leave the sight rail off. Now we also have our magazine here. I'll just quickly show you that. CO2 goes in the magazine. You load it from the bottom here. You use an Allen key to tighten it. See that there? And then you also load your BBs spring fed. I have no fingernails. You can either load them from the bottom, if you can see this here, a little bit hard, but you can put them in that way. It's a little bit tough. You have to use your fingernail to hold this down, or you can load them from the top as well. You can put them in from the top. It's up to you how you want to load them. Nice weighty all metal magazine. And by the way, you notice that the magazine is a little bit longer than the regular one. They both work in both guns. I noticed you have to press very firmly to get it into the sight rail version, but here's the short magazine in the sight rail, and here is the longer magazine in the regular version. So they both work. Now getting back to the front of this gun, you have your compensator. It just screws on essentially to the barrel again. Now I don't know if I'd really want to leave the sight rail off of this gun because you're going to have that kind of awkward looking extension on the barrel. So personally with this gun, if I was going to leave anything off of it, I would maybe take the sight rail off and just go with the open sights, leaving the compensator on it. As I always like to do a little bit of a comparison of other products that I've reviewed or I personally own. All of the guns you're looking at here are Cybergun products. They work pretty much all the same. So we have the Sig Sauer P226 X-Five without the sight rail, so the non-open version. And you can see it's very similar, just doesn't have all the extras. I also have my Cybergun Tanfoglio Witness 1911 here, and I have my GSG 92. I get a lot of people asking me which one should I buy. Well, they're really all very similarly designed, similarly built. They have similar feet per second ratings. They're pretty much all metal guns with full-size dropout metal magazines. You're kind of getting at what I'm saying here. It really just comes down to personal preference. What style of gun do you want? So if you ask me which one I would suggest, well really, I can't decide that for you because it's really a personal preference on the style of gun you're looking for. Now if you're choosing between the open and non-open version of the Sig Sauer P226 X-Five, well for $10 you get a lot of extra bonuses. You get the adjustable sights, sight rail, compensator, and the cool looking extended magazine. So that's not too bad for $10 more. If you want to keep things simple, then just go for the non-open version. Alright, so at this time we're going to head outside. We're going to do the chronograph test. We're going to put 8 rounds through the chronograph and see what kind of real world feet per second ratings we get from the Sig Sauer P226 X-Five open. And then we're going to do a shooting test where I again shoot 8 rounds through this Cybergun product, and we'll see what kind of grouping we can get from it. Okay, so we're here with the Sig Sauer P226 X-Five open version, or sometimes referred to as the sight rail version. Now we're going to shoot 8 rounds through the chronograph. This is a fresh CO2, and we're going to see what the real world feet per second rating is for this open version of the Sig Sauer P226 X-Five. Here we go. .361. Error. Try that again. 351. 346. 341. 337. 332. And I only have 8 rounds in here, so we had 1 error. So we shot 7 rounds through this chronograph, or we got 7 readings out of the 8 shots, so we'll average it on the 7 shots. And the lowest one ending on 329.4. Not too bad at all. Okay, so we're going to head over now and we're going to do the shooting portion of this test on the target from 20 feet out. Alright everyone, we're set up here, we're ready to go, we're 20 feet out. We're in a freestanding position. I have my X-Five Sig Sauer P226. This is the open or sight rail version. We're going to shoot 8 rounds into this target, and we're going to see how well we do. Here we go. And that's it. Let's check this out. Well, that's pretty darn good. I had one flyer over here, but if I didn't have that flyer, that would be a 1-inch group. Even so, it's about a 1.5-inch group. Very well centered on target, and almost all of them in the black. As again I said, just the one flyer there. These ones were creeping onto the white a little bit. Pretty darn good. Okay, so let's head inside and finish up this review. Okay, so I'm really happy with the test results we got from this X-Five Cybergun product. We actually started out up in the 360 feet per second and finished off in the high 330s, considering that the factory claim is only 300 feet per second. Well, you might be thinking with the added feet per second, maybe I didn't get too many shots. Well, I got about the same amount of shots I usually get with these Cybergun blowback guns, and that was about 3 magazines. So just under 60 rounds. Now when I did my accuracy test with the P226 X-Five, it did good there too. I was able to get, I would say, about a 1-inch group, not too bad at all. And when I put an additional 2 magazines into this target, you can see that it was also very well centered. Now the grouping extended into more of about a 2-inch grouping, but still very good. Now these additional 2 magazines that I put into this target, I was shooting them a little bit quicker. I want to also quickly show you some high-speed footage of the Cybergun Sig Sauer P226 X-Five shooting in slow motion so you can see the blowback action for yourself. Alright, so it's time for the pros and the cons. Now, as with a lot of these Cybergun products, there's generally a lot more pros than cons because I really like these guns. Now, it's a pretty much all metal gun. I didn't really get into the metal parts when I was showing you around the gun, but you can pretty much assume everything on it's metal with the exception of the grips and perhaps a few internal parts. This gun has an amazing weight to it, weighs almost 3 pounds. It's about as real as you can get with an air gun to the real thing. This gun has really heavy blowback action, which again gives you that very realistic feeling when you're shooting this gun. I found the Sig Sauer to be very accurate, not only on target, but it's also an accurate representation of the real Sig Sauer X-Five. I think this would make an awesome training gun if you're just learning how to shoot a gun or maybe you want to perfect your skills. I like the fact that it shoots in both single and double action, and the trigger pull is very light and very smooth. Now the fact that it has a sight rail allowed me to put a red dot sight on here, and anytime I've used red dot sights, it always improves the accuracy over the open sights. Now again, in my chronograph testing, the Cybergun Sig Sauer X-Five Open shot much higher, almost 50 to 60 feet per second faster than the claimed manufacturer's ratings. Another thing I want to point out, and I pointed it out before, is that for $10 more, if you purchase the Open over the non-open version, you're going to get a lot of extras, like again, the sight rail, the compensator, the fully adjustable rear sight, and just for looks, the extended magazine. And as always, there's a few things that I would like to change on just about any product I review. I found the Sig Sauer Open a little bit hard to load, but I can tell you it's a lot easier to load the magazine up in here than an actual 9mm or 45 auto. Now with the heavy blowback action, you generally lose a little bit of feet per second, and you're also going to lose a little bit of CO2 usage, or amount of shots per CO2. Lastly, with the sight rail, this gun's really hard to field strip unless you remove the sight rail. Alright, so that concludes this review. Thanks again for watching another replica airgun video. I have this product in the replica airgun store along with all the other Cybergun products I showed you today. Make sure to check out my other reviews, my other articles on the website. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not a subscriber. And until next time, take care and see you later.